The galaxy had seen thousands of fleets move across the stars, but nothing prepared them for the moment humanity's so-called weak Armada arrived at the Celestial Council station. The station floated peacefully above a blue-white gas giant, a shining symbol of alien unity, and at this grand meeting, representatives from 20 major alien empires gathered to discuss new border laws and military zones. Every empire came proudly with their fleets, bright warships, heavy destroyers, and massive dreadnoughts glowing with power. Engines roared, weapons hummed, and shields shimmered like golden nets around each ship. Aliens filled the observation decks, whispering about who had the strongest ships this year. But everyone fell silent when a strange shape appeared at the edge of the system. The scanners caught something unusual, a human fleet approaching at slow speed. The ships looked old, slow, rusting. As if they belonged in a museum, not in a galactic meeting. A tall, insect-like alien named Commander Rithzar hissed in amusement when he saw the fleet on the hologram. Humans are always like this, he said, weak engines, weak weapons, weak courage. Others laughed with him. They are not warriors, another alien said, they are farmers and traders. They look peaceful, someone added, too peaceful. Inside the chamber, one alien after another mocked them. Some even said the ships might fall apart before they reached the station. No one took the human armada seriously. Not even a little. But Captain Arlen, the human fleet commander, heard every insult. He stood inside his bridge, calm like a mountain, his face cold and unreadable. His crew watched him closely. They waited for him to respond, but he didn't speak. He simply looked at the holographic map in front of him. There were no signs of anger in his eyes. Only patience. Deep, quiet patience. The human ships continued drifting forward. When alien sensors scanned them, readings came back as weak or unstable. Weapon power, low. Shield level, weak. Engine output, minimal. Even the hull materials looked old. Almost outdated. The Alien Council took these readings as proof that humans had no strength. Many commanders joked that the humans might be here only to watch stronger empires negotiate. Perhaps they want protection, one alien joked loudly. Another replied, or maybe they brought these old ships because they had nothing else left. All the while, Captain Arlen stood completely still. His crew noticed something strange. The captain's hands were folded behind his back, but he was tapping one finger gently. Slow, steady, almost like a countdown. When the human armada finally moved closer to the station, the alien fleets shifted their positions. Some pushed forward proudly, trying to show dominance. Others activated extra shield layers just to show off. No one respected the human ships. Not a single empire pulled back or made space for them. Inside the alien chamber, a silver-skinned ambassador raised an eyebrow in mock confusion. Why are they here? Their fleet looks like floating trash, he said. Laughter echoed around the room. The council should send them home, another added. It is embarrassing to watch such weakness. But their laughter slowly stopped when something unusual happened. The human ships did not slow down. They did not request docking permission. They simply sailed forward. Silent, calm, peaceful, yet strangely confident. Alien commanders watched with confusion now, not amusement. Why are they not stopping? Rithzar said, his antennae twitching. Another commander replied, maybe their communication systems are broken. But Captain Arlen gave no signal. He only watched the slow movement of the alien fleets surrounding them. Hold formation, he finally said quietly. His voice was calm, steady, almost too relaxed. The crew obeyed, and the human ships remained in the exact same shape and distance like a perfectly trained school of fish. Then it began. The first alien battleship tried scanning the humans again, but this time, the scanner died. A second ship tried as well, but its reading turned into static. A third ship reported a complete sensor blackout. One officer shouted. "Commander! All readings from the human armada just vanished." The alien chamber fell silent. No one laughed now. "What kind of technology does that?" an alien scientist whispered. "Nothing so weak," another replied slowly. "Something is wrong," Rithzar said, "something is very wrong." Captain Arlen looked at his control screen. A soft glow appeared beneath the old metal panels of his ship. His crew watched as the lights changed from dull yellow to deep blue. It was like the ship was waking up, stretching, breathing. And the same glow began appearing under the hulls of every weak human ship in the Armada. The aliens stared in shock. "This is not normal," one whispered. "These ships are not old." Then a deep hum echoed across the empty space between the fleets. It was not loud. But it carried weight, a warning, a message, a promise. Every alien officer felt a strange chill run down their spine. Captain Arlen finally lifted his head and spoke. His voice carried through every ship in the Armada. "Prepare to reveal," he said softly. And for the first time that day, the aliens stopped laughing. They began fearing. Because they finally understood one thing. The human Armada was not weak. It was hiding something. Something powerful, silent, and dangerous. A cold silence settled across the Celestial Council chamber as the human Armada drifted into full view. What had first looked like an old, dying fleet was now glowing with faint blue veins of energy. It was as if the ships were shedding their old skins and revealing something alive beneath. The alien commanders stood frozen, unsure how to react. No one expected this. Not even the most suspicious empires. The weak metal shells that once looked rusted now pulsed with a strange, rhythmic light, like a giant heartbeat spreading through the fleet. Commander Rithzar narrowed his eyes. "Those readings were false," he muttered, "they tricked our scanners." A reptilian officer beside him hissed in fear. "But how? No technology can fool our sensors like this." Yet the proof was right there. The weak Armada, the one every empire mocked, was changing before their eyes. Inside the human flagship, Captain Arlen stood still as his crew rushed to their stations. The bridge lights dimmed, replaced by soft blue holograms that rose from the floor like mist. A quiet vibration ran through the ship's metal bones. It almost felt like the ship was waking up after a long sleep. "Dreadform systems at 30%, a young officer reported, his voice trembling. Arlen nodded without fear. "Continue the awakening," he said calmly. One by one, the human ships began transforming. Armor plates slid open like flower petals, revealing sleek black surfaces under the disguise. Old engines folded inward as new ones emerged, the kind of engines no alien sensor had ever recorded. The disguise layers fell apart, drifting away like dust into space. The real human fleet finally appeared. Dark, sharp, silent. More like shadows than metal. Each ship had a smooth surface that absorbed light instead of reflecting it. They looked almost invisible. Like predators hiding in plain sight. The alien council broke into confused shouting. "What are these ships? This is not human technology. They are hiding unauthorized weapons." But not a single human officer responded. Not yet. Meanwhile, in the station's command tower, the head marshal, a massive stone-skinned alien named Gorthal, slammed his fist on the table. "Why have they come with cloaked warships?" he growled. "They have brought deception into a peace meeting." His assistant trembled. "Marshal, maybe we misjudged them." Gorthal glared. Humans were weak yesterday, they must still be weak today. But even he did not believe his own words. Back in space, the human Armada moved with unnatural precision. There was no delay between ships, no hesitation. Each vessel adjusted its angle at the exact same moment as the others, like limbs of one giant creature. Commander Rithzar felt the hairs on his neck rise. This is not a normal fleet, it is something unified, disciplined, dangerous. Suddenly, a deep tone echoed through space. It vibrated through every ship, every station, every body. Even the strongest alien warriors felt their hearts skip. Inside the human flagship, the crew confirmed the source. Dreadform link is complete, the officer said. Arlen nodded. Good, he whispered, let them finally see. The alien scanners came back online. But when they scanned again, the readings almost broke the systems. Power level, unknown. Core energy, beyond measurable limits. Weapon systems, classified. Stealth capabilities, impossible. Alien officers stared at the numbers. Some thought their devices were malfunctioning. Others silently prayed their leaders wouldn't provoke the humans. Suddenly, a hologram appeared in the center of the Celestial Council chamber. Captain Arlen's calm face showed up, expression still cold, still controlled. His voice echoed clearly. Members of the council, he said, humanity has arrived. Murmurs filled the room. How dare they address us without permission? Stop their transmission. Tell them to explain this fleet. But Arlen continued peacefully. You asked humans to bring a fleet for diplomatic representation, he said. So we brought one. Rithzar hissed, this is no diplomatic fleet. Arlen ignored him. Instead he said. You judged our weakness many times. You measured our power with broken tools. But humans do not grow by showing muscle. We grow by preparing. The room fell silent at his words. Even Gorthal stopped breathing for a moment. Outside the station, the human ship's blue veins brightened. They were no longer just glowing, they were charging. Energy waves rippled across their hulls like they were gathering strength for something massive. Alien fleets reacted instantly. Weapons locked, shields expanded, panic spread through every command deck. Human fleet is preparing for attack, someone shouted. Raise defense levels. Get ready to fire. But at that exact moment, Captain Arlen raised a hand. Calm yourselves, he said, we are not here to fight. Unless forced. Then he spoke the most chilling words of the day. Words that echoed across every ship and every mind. We hid our true strength because we had no reason to show it. But today, you gave us one. With that, the human armada fully awakened. A silent, dark, unstoppable force stretching across the stars. No longer weak. No longer ignored. Ready to change the galaxy forever. The moment the human armada fully awakened, the entire celestial station felt different. The air inside the council chamber grew heavy. The glowing banners dimmed. The alien representatives who were laughing an hour ago now sat frozen in their seats, unable to speak. Outside the crystal windows, the human ships drifted in perfect unity. Not one ship moved out of formation. Not one engine flickered. They looked like silent shadows preparing to swallow the stars. Marshal Gorthal stared so hard at the fleet that small cracks formed in the stone plates along his arms. This is unnatural, he whispered. His assistant swallowed nervously. Marshal, our sensors say their power level is rising again. Rising? Gorthal bellowed, how much more power can they hide? The answer came quickly. Too much. Across different alien fleets around the station, panic spread like fire. Captains yelled orders. Soldiers ran across decks. Emergency shields began powering up. Inside a crimson-colored warship, a four-armed alien commander slammed his fists on the console. Lock weapons on the human flagship. His second officer hesitated. But we do not know their strength. They are humans, the commander shouted, they have always been weak. But those words no longer sounded true. Even his own soldiers didn't believe him anymore. The enemy they mocked was no longer laughing with them. Inside the human flagship, Captain Arlen watched these reactions calmly. Status, he asked, his voice quiet but in complete control. Alien fleets are panicking, the officer said, some are preparing to fire. Arlen nodded. Hold formation, he replied, do not respond. Those 3 words carried more power than any threat. To hold formation in front of dozens of fully armed alien fleets. Only a commander with absolute confidence would say that. And Arlen had confidence, because he knew something the aliens didn't. The Phantom Battalion did not fight battles. It ended them. Meanwhile, inside the council chamber, arguments broke out. They tricked us. They violated peace rules. No, they only hid their technology. This is an act of war. Commander Rithzar finally stepped forward, raising his voice above the noise. Silence, he shouted. His sharp voice stopped the arguments immediately. Look at the readings, he said, pointing at the glowing holograms floating above the table. They have weapons we cannot identify. Engines we cannot measure. An armor that hides its own structure. He leaned closer. No species has ever built something like this. A thin, blue-skinned diplomat whispered. Then what are these ships? No one answered. But fear was growing in every corner of the chamber. Suddenly, the lights in the station flickered. A deep vibration passed through the floors and walls. It was faint but enough to make cups rattle and chairs shake. Rithzar's eyes widened. That vibration came from them. Marshal Gorthal slammed his fist again. They are powering up for attack. He pointed at the screen. All fleets prepare defensive grid. Dozens of alien warships immediately formed a massive shield ring around the station. Blue, red, and gold shields overlapped, glowing like a protective cocoon. It was the strongest defense the galaxy had ever built. But still, it did not feel like enough. Because the human ships were still glowing brighter. Not violently. Not aggressively. Just, confidently. As if they knew they could break through the shield ring without effort. Inside the human flagship, officers confirmed the changes. Dreadform link stable. Phantom core increasing output. Shadowtech plating absorbing all scans. Captain Arlen let out a slow breath. Maintain calm, he said, do not provoke. His crew trusted him completely. They knew the Phantom Battalion had a single purpose. To protect humanity without starting unnecessary wars. But the galaxy didn't know that. In the council, Rithzar finally asked the question everyone feared. What is their intention? Why reveal this now? Before anyone could answer, the chamber lights flashed and dimmed. A hologram formed in the center. Captain Arlen again, calm, steady, unshaken. Members of the council, he said. We are not here to fight. But you insulted our fleet. You insulted our people. And then you pointed your guns at us. An uneasy silence followed. Even Gorthal stopped shouting. Arlen continued. Humans stayed quiet for years. Humanity stayed peaceful. But peace does not mean weakness. The aliens exchanged nervous glances. They wanted to deny his words. But outside the window, the Phantom fleet glowed like a sleeping storm. They couldn't deny anything. Arlen lifted his hand. Behind him, the entire Phantom Battalion aligned its ships perfectly. The formation was sharp, precise, not even 1 meter off. It was a message. A silent warning. A demonstration of mastery and discipline. No other fleet in the galaxy could move with such perfect unity. Rithzar whispered the words the whole council was now thinking. This is not a weak armada. This is a superweapon disguised as one. But the most terrifying part was still ahead. Because at that moment, a distorted signal entered the system. A new fleet jumped into real space. An enemy fleet, hungry for war. Unaware of what awaited them. And the galaxy would soon witness what the Phantom Battalion truly was. The enemy fleet appeared in a violent flash of red light. Dozens of sharp, horn-shaped warships ripped out of hyperspace, their engines blazing like angry suns. Their armor was thick, their weapons glowing bright as fire. They were a known problem in the outer sectors, a brutal empire called the Carrick Dominion, feared for their surprise raids and conquest. But this time, they had picked the worst possible moment to arrive. They had no idea the Phantom Battalion was awake. They had no idea the galaxy's most dangerous hidden fleet was floating right in front of them. Inside the council, panic exploded instantly. "The Carrick are here," someone shouted. "They will attack the station. They will destroy everything." Marshal Gorthal leaped to his feet. "All fleets prepare for defense." But he froze mid-sentence. Because something strange happened. The human fleet did not panic. They did not move. They did not even raise their weapons. They simply adjusted their formation, smoothly, silently, and placed themselves between the council station and the incoming enemy fleet. The aliens inside the chamber watched in confusion and fear. Why are the humans moving forward? They cannot stop the Carrick. They will be destroyed. But Captain Arlen knew exactly what he was doing. Inside the human flagship, he stood tall. "Enemy fleet arrival confirmed," the officer said. Arlen nodded. "No sudden response," he ordered. "Hold formation." The Phantom Battalion hovered like a wall of shadows. Unmoving, fearless, almost welcoming the enemy. The Carrick commander, a muscular beast with metallic horns and burning yellow eyes, appeared on every ship's communication screen. "Alien Council," he roared, "you are weak, you hide behind your laws. Today we claim this station and every ship here." Many alien officers clenched their fists. They knew the Carrick were merciless. They had destroyed entire colonies without warning. But the Carrick discovered something new today. Humans, who they believed were small and harmless, were no longer the same. The Carrick commander laughed when he saw the human fleet. "What are these toys?" he mocked. "These metal scraps block our path." He raised his clawed hand. "Destroy them." The Carrick warships roared forward, engines spitting fire. They prepared to fire heavy plasma torpedoes. Inside the council, chaos erupted. Humans must move. They will be killed. Why are they staying still? Are they insane? But Captain Arlen didn't move. He didn't even blink. "Increase phantom resonance," he ordered softly. "Not weapon mode. Shield mode." A deep hum spread across the human armada. Black hulls shimmered with a thin, ghost-like layer of blue energy. The ships didn't shine. They didn't glow brightly. They just absorbed light. As if the darkness itself had thickened around them. The first volley of Carrick torpedoes hit the phantom shields. Everyone braced for an explosion. But nothing happened. The torpedoes simply vanished, swallowed whole by the human shields like stones thrown into deep water. The alien chamber erupted in gasps. Impossible. Unreal. No shield in the galaxy worked like that. The Carrick commander froze. "What?" he growled. "Fire again." A second, larger barrage launched. Dozens of torpedoes streaked across space. Again, they vanished into the phantom shield. Not a sound. Not a spark. Not even a ripple. Captain Arlen watched silently. His voice calm and cold. "Prepare the claim." A large hologram flickered to life inside the human flagship. A massive star map appeared, detailed, glowing, and ancient. It showed empty regions of space, abandoned sectors, forgotten systems. Places the council pretended no one wanted. But humans wanted them. Humans had been working quietly for years. Surveying, studying, preparing to expand. Arlen raised his hand. "Transmit," he said. Inside the council chamber, the lights flickered again. A gigantic hologram filled the room, the same star map Arlen just activated. Every alien turned to look, confused and shocked. Arlen's voice echoed. Humanity hereby claims the abandoned Aurora sectors. The worlds you ignored. The systems you left to die. We claim them today. The council exploded with arguments. You cannot claim territory without approval. This is illegal. You have no right. But they fell silent when the Phantom Battalion shifted formation again. They moved in a smooth arc, forming a crescent around the Carrick fleet. A silent warning. A threat without words. The Carrick commander roared in anger. You dare block us? You dare stand against us? Captain Arlen finally looked directly at the enemy. Your empire thrives on fear, he said calmly. But fear does not move us. We did not come to fight you. But we will protect what is ours. The Carrick commander growled. You think these weak ships can face us? Arlen gave the coldest, quietest answer of the day. They are weak. Until humanity claims them. And in that moment, the Phantom Battalion unleashed its full power. Not with weapons. But with a transformation so terrifying the entire galaxy would remember it forever. The real battle was about to begin. Space fell silent, too silent. The Phantom Battalion hovered in its crescent formation, each ship glowing softly like a sleeping beast ready to wake. Across from them, the Carrick Dominion fleet spread its wings, engines burning hot, claws of metal aimed at the council station. The alien representatives inside the chamber watched with wide eyes, hardly breathing. None of them had ever seen two forces stand face to face like this. One born from pure arrogance. One born from pure preparation. The Carrick commander snarled. These humans hide behind fancy tricks. They cannot face true Carrick strength. He raised one massive claw and slammed it down. Fire all weapons. Dozens of heavy plasma cannons roared to life. Red flames exploded forward, lighting up space like a storm of falling suns. The Carrick warships unleashed everything they had in a single brutal wave. Missiles, torpedoes, piercing beams. Enough firepower to rip a moon apart. Inside the council chamber, diplomats screamed. This is the end. They will destroy everything. Stop them. But the humans did not stop. The Phantom Battalion did not retreat. They simply shifted. Just a little. Barely enough to notice. And something extraordinary happened. The first wave of Carrick fire reached the Phantom shields. But instead of exploding or being absorbed like before, it bent. It curved. It twisted around the human ships like light bending around a black hole. The entire attack slid past the dreadform hulls and vanished into the void behind them. Not even a spark touched the human fleet. The alien chamber fell silent in shock. This is impossible, someone whispered. It is like they are, invisible to damage. The Carrick commander roared again. Fire again. A second wave launched, more powerful, more focused. But the same thing happened. Every blast curved around the Phantom Battalion as if the ship simply refused to be hit. It was not shield technology. It was not armor technology. It was something deeper, something older. Something the galaxy had never seen before. Inside the human flagship, Captain Arlen stood still. Enemy fire deflected, the officer reported calmly. No damage. Arlen nodded. Good. Now, show them. The Phantom Battalion moved, finally. But they did not rush forward like other fleets. They did not roar or scream or flash. They moved like ghosts. Silent, controlled, perfect. Their hulls darkened further, becoming blacker than space. Their engines glowed with a deep blue pulse. And then, they disappeared. One moment they were there. The next moment they were shadows. Gone. Inside the Carrack flagship, alarms screamed. Where did they go? Find them. Scan everything. But the scanners showed nothing. The Phantom Battalion had left no trace. Behind us, a Carrack officer screamed suddenly. Too late. The human ships flashed into existence behind the entire Carrack formation. Dozens of dreadform vessels appearing like falling stars, their hulls glowing with lines of bright blue energy. The aliens in the council chamber gasped. How did they move so fast? That is impossible. They broke the laws of physics. The Carrack commander gritted his teeth. Turn the ships around. Face them. But his warships were slow. Too slow. The Phantom Battalion was already aligned. Already ready. Already locked. Arlen raised his hand. Phantom strike, he said quietly. Level 1. The human ships fired. Not torpedoes. Not missiles. Not lasers. But thin, sharp beams of silent blue light. They cut through space like needles of ice. Not loud. Not bright. Just deadly. The beams pierced the Carrack ships one by one. Not destroying the entire ship. Just disabling engines, knocking out weapons, removing control systems. The attacks were surgical, precise, perfect. Within seconds, half the Carrack fleet floated powerless, drifting helplessly like broken toys. But no ship exploded. No one died. It was not destruction. It was dominance. Arlen's voice echoed across the communication channels. Carrack Dominion, he said. You came to conquer. You came to destroy. But not today. The Carrack commander shook with rage. You think this means victory? You humans think you are strong? Arlen answered calmly. No. This shows we do not need to kill to win. He took a step forward. And that makes us stronger than you. The council chamber fell completely silent. Even Marshal Gorthal stared at the human hologram with new respect. These were not the weak humans the galaxy knew. These were protectors. Defenders. A force that could end wars. Or stop them before they began. The Phantom Battalion slowly returned to formation. Their hulls dimmed. Their engines quieted. They became shadows again. Captain Arlen looked at the galaxy's leaders and said the final words of the day. Humanity does not seek to rule. We seek respect. And after today, you will not forget us. The council bowed their heads. The Carrack fleet surrendered without another word. And across the galaxy, every species whispered the same truth. The weak-looking Armada was never weak. It was humanity's greatest power, hidden in plain sight.